Pretty girl don't get stuck. You guys. Sometimes we do. And honestly, I've been sort of observing different influencers, and there seems to be this common denominator that a lot of these people are depressed. And yet they live in like this really luxurious environment and have everything, ordered and sent to them and just so much comfort, and yet they're dwelling in this painful suffering of depression. And I'm not here to cut anyone down because I've been through it myself and it is excruciating. And so that's why I want to talk to you guys today. I want to let you know what helped me pull myself out of those cycles, you see, because it was cyclical for me going into that deep, dark pit. It was almost like I knew I had to go. And yet, in the past few years, I have avoided that. I have kept myself in a higher realm due to the fact that I really got real with myself. And that's the number one thing that we must do. We must be able to get past our denial. We got to look at the truth. What's really going on here? How can we be real with ourselves? The fact of the matter is, you probably have invested too much energy, attention, into something that is not real. The investment in self, in true self, must be our priority. And that means our goals, our ambition, like the intention, the trajectory that we're trying to create in our life, that must be our focus, because our vision is what we manifest. And so when we're invested in something that is illusory, we will find ourselves on that slippery slope of feeling that depression because we can't grapple with something that isn't real. So what is real? Love is real. Self-love, love of others, love of life. What is false? Fear, guilt, shame. So we can look at those parameters and say, okay, what have I been focused on? I've also, have found myself in this situation numerous times where I'm feeling the pressure to go into an arena or a circle, a place that seems like it will feed me, and yet the truth of the matter is it doesn't. Like, for instance, I moved into a community recently and everyone's really nice, but going into some of these circles and getting to know some of these people would actually be bad for my health due to the fact that they are cigarette smokers. You see, that slippery slope is right there. I want to get to know people. There's this pressure. I like being social, and yet there is this one issue. There's a health issue here. And it's something that society kind of wants you to overlook, like, nah, you're good. But I have to take a look at that and be self-real and protect myself. If I were to, say, go into that circle, getting to know those people, actually finding myself connected, there would be that consequence of having to deal with the fact that I now, am close to people that smoke cigarettes. And that would be very difficult to maintain. Now, that's just an example of how we can, find ourselves in places where we thought we wanted to be, and yet we didn't really look at all the different parameters of that. Now, when we do find ourselves stuck, when we do get caught up in the game, and unfortunately I'm seeing a lot of influencers right now complain about just being stuck in that depression and a lot of chronic illness. And I will say, what I'm doing to help my own existence and my own self liberate from that matrix is to buy myself out. Where did you get stuck in the way that you overinvested? Did you rent something that was too expensive? Did you go into a relationship that was toxic? Where do you need to back up? Where do you need to reinvest, you know, basically buy yourself out of that situation? For some of you who are watching me, you have lots of subscribers. You are being approached by people who want to endorse you. But some of these sponsorships require of you to lower your frequency, to lower your regard for your own decency. So in that circumstance, you must be able to foot the bill. Where those people wanted to endorse you, you got to endorse yourself. You got to be the one to show up and say, hey, I'm my sponsor. I'm not with you guys. I can't put myself on that platform. I'm going to go build my own. And that means you got to work for yourself. There's someone in particular that I monitor because I feel she has a specific pulse on an area that is important to me. She's a very integral part of this, I would say, Southern California matrix, because when I tune into her, I can tune into a vast majority. And so recently she did a live where she's talking about the depression. And, she's joking like, oh, I clickbaited you guys, like, blah, blah, blah. And I can see deep down, no, you didn't. You're hurting. And you want to connect. You want to feel safe. And this is somebody that mind you, it's somebody that's difficult for me to watch because of a lot of her belief systems are shallow, just very out of alignment and nothing, in alignment with what I believe. But at the same time, there's like this understanding I have, and I sort of go into some sort of learning. It's like school for me in a way, compassion school, I should say. And so, yeah, she's going through it too, and yet I'm looking at her life from the outside, and she's wealthy in all regards of what's going on outside her. She is being fed on every level. Yet there's something internally that has gone askew. She is not seeing the fact that she lied to herself. The fact that there is a need for her to sort of uproot and exit out of the comfort zone. All of the coddling, all of the luxuries and things that she's continued to put on her, that is actually reinforcing her stagnancy and that depression. So that's another example of where we can sort of get caught up. The society wants us to have all these things. We got to put on this look. We got to be it. And yet all of that in itself was actually what is contributing to the mental illness and the pathology. So there's something that needs to be looked at within our own pressure to be what we thought people wanted us to be. We must be strong enough to sort of reverse engineer all of that. So when you're born, your family's like created this entire role for you, and we've basically learned to fall into a lot of these characteristics. And yet we must be able to reverse engineer all of that, like look into all of those things, like question everything. and be safe enough within yourself, be real, that self-realness, that is what's going to give you that strength to kind of build yourself up and move yourself out of that lower frequency so you don't ever feel that depressive vibe anymore. You're actually really a co-creator of your existence. You're making moves. You're actually authentic as a person, and you're not carrying all this weight and baggage of what everyone else wants you to carry. You know, there is such a lightness in your world. Yes, this world's bad and it's pressuring us to continue to be bad, and but it's not real. Like I said, what's real is love, love of self and love of others.